back with Make Space Boring. It is Monday, the 16th of December, and this is the 17th episode of Make Space Boring. Yes, we are on a mission to get user adoption of space-made products and services by the general public so that they are using it like they're using terrestrial Wi-Fi and public transit, so that they just go to jobs and use this stuff, and that makes everybody feel good, doesn't it? All right. So it has been a while because I was away. I went back to Wilmington from Asheville, North Carolina for a couple days last week. And that just, I can't get anything done when I'm traveling, but it was a useful visit. So let's see, coming back Friday afternoon, I drove 6 hours, and then I immediately interviewed Bob Whearty of Marsh, which is space insurance, and that will be a fascinating episode for you folks, I'm sure. It's part of the industry not too many people know about, and we dug into a lot of detail. I think it was about 40 minutes, so that will come out in 6 to 8 weeks, something like that. So I would look for that at the end of February, maybe early March. Over the weekend, I recorded an episode. It's an audio-only Make Space Boring News thing that I've been wanting to do for a while, just for my own education as well. I looked at ITAR versus EAR and what those two things are and how they're managed and where they apply in that. So that episode was released on the weekend. I've posted it on LinkedIn, but you can always look at the channel or the Anchor podcast. Or on Spotify or iTunes or wherever the audio-only version is released. Today is Monday, and that means a new episode of the full format Cold Start Project is released, and this week's is Peter Taylor, who is also known as the Lazy Project Manager. That's the title of his first book. The second book is coming out. We talked about that. And boy, if you're a space engineer and you want to find out about like the soft skill stuff and project management, scheduling and that, how can I make projects turn out better and run better? And believe me, with a 40% failure rate in the small sat field, there's a lot of room for improvement on this stuff. If you've ever felt squished or you didn't get the right kind of support, go check that episode out. It released today. Peter Taylor on the Cold Start Project. Yeah, I forgot. So I haven't been to Wilmington in a while. It turned out I hadn't checked my my P.O. box since August, of all things, and it's December now. I'm such a bad business owner. But a guy who's been interviewed on my show a couple times, Todd Hockenberry, who runs Inbound Organization Company, got me his book, and it's called The Inbound Organization. And he even inscribed it, thanks for being on my show, or, letting me be on your show twice. So that was very cool. I've had a flip through the book. I am reading it at my very slow pace, although I do read a lot. It says here I'm on page 3. Wow, again, I'm a failure as a business owner, but there's a huge chunk of introductions and greetings and talking about each of the two folks. The co-writer, Dan Tyre, is a HubSpot founder guy. So this is all about inbound marketing, and if you don't know too much about that, there are 2 episodes of the Cold Start Project in which I interviewed Todd about it, and it'll give you a lot of ideas, and I'm looking for a lot of structure from that book. So it's nice that arrived and I managed to go pick it up. So, and by the way, I want to thank you if you have supported these videos and the Cold Start Project and other posts that I make, the likes and the thanks, and I've gotten several messages from folks saying, hey, I really enjoyed this, and you know who you are. And I really appreciate that. It's kind of a lonely thing, creating content, in the middle of a workday and trying to get stuff done and manage projects and people and that, and come and do this kind of thing. And it's good that people appreciate it. Remember, you can sign up for email updates so that you don't miss any of this stuff. It's not a huge list. I don't bombard people with stuff. Those who are on it know. I send you a pretty straightforward email once a day during the week, and maybe if I come up with some content over the weekend, but I didn't even email people this weekend about that ITAR versus EAR thing. I forgot it, that I could do that. It'll be included in today's. So if you want to sign up for that, go to coldstartech.com/MSB, short for Make Space Boring, and all I need is your email address, and you'll be on the list. And again, you will not be bombarded with anything You just get an email with some links in it saying, hey, here's some stuff I created, go check it out. So if you like what I do, that's a great way to do it. Later today, I signed up for Satellite 2020 in Washington. That's, I think, in mid-March or something. That's a convention. It looks kind of like a trade show as well. So, but I'm definitely going. There's a number of people in the Washington area who I've met and interviewed, but I haven't seen in person yet. So I'll cluster them together and confront them all. That's what I'll do at that time. So if you're in the Washington area and you're going to be around that week, it's around the 12th, I think, through the 13th, 14th, 15th, something like that. That's what it feels like. Check that out and let me know. Message me if you're going to be in that area at that time, and we'll see if we can meet up. Later, in like half an hour, he's in Rome and I'm in North Carolina. So I'm going to talk to my technical engineering advisor, Dr. Rick Fleeter, about Space Horizons 2020, which is a different thing altogether. It's coming up in February at Brown University in Rhode Island. And it's a smaller conference. It's a 1 or 2 day thing, and I'm going to go to that. But we have to figure out what date it is. I saw 2 different dates on the website, and so I'm going to straighten that out very shortly and have a good conversation with Rick Fleeter. If you missed my interview with him, that is a full format Cold Star Project episode, so you can go check that out. And I think if you go to coldstartech.com/play, that will take you directly to the YouTube playlist. You can look at all the wonderful episodes of the Cold Star Project. There's like 95 of them now or something like that. We're closing in on 100 episodes. It's a lot of work and a lot of expertise there. Not many people produce a podcast like I do. Just go look around. There's a lot of silly stuff out there, and yeah, it's entertaining maybe, but you don't really learn anything that you can apply. And from my show, if you're a business owner or an executive, you ought to be able to get some real horsepower out of what I bring on and who I bring on and that. So I appreciate, again, the support that I've been getting. All right, that's it for me today. This was a bit of a longer episode because we had some catch up to do since I wasn't really here for most of the middle of last week. But it's good to be back. I really like Asheville. I like the mountains. I'm a Vancouverite originally, and I miss those mountains a lot more than I thought, and the ocean is less important than I figured it would be. All right, let's continue on with the mission to make space boring, and I will see you tomorrow.